So does your KD actually matter? I think it's a bit of yes and a bit of no. However, if you were to ask 4 different players, you'd probably get 4 different answers. This subject is, well, it's complicated in the sense that KD doesn't tell the whole story. However, it can be a pretty good indication of how you're performing within a match, and it can also be a good indication for new players to see progress that they've made. So for full disclosure and transparency, I have a 1.61 KD on my Hunter, which is my more try-hard PvP class, and a 1.48 KD on my Warlock, which is my more chill day-to-day PvP class. That puts me in about the top 6% of players. However, that doesn't put me in top 2%. I am not one of the upper echelon folks, so I'm not going to approach it from that perspective. I'm just somebody who really likes PvP, and I think KD can be useful. However, it shouldn't be used just as your only metric of progress, right? So let's look at it this way. If you're a Clash player, what's the objective of the Clash game type? To get more kills than the opponent does faster than they do. So if you only play Clash 24/7 and you have a really sick KD, like a 1.7 KD, right? Then you're probably winning a lot of your Clash games, and you're helping your team out, and you're being a beneficial player. However, let's say you're playing nothing but Control, you've got a pretty sweet KD, and yet you have a terrible win-loss. You're not helping with the objective, your only focus is not to work with the team, but rather farm kills. Is that an indication of a really strong player? You can make the argument, however, that if you're in Control, and you're killing everybody left and right, aren't you creating opportunities for your teammates to secure the B point and to hold more points, right? If you're killing really effectively, you can make the argument that you are setting up an opportunity and an atmosphere for your team to succeed. You can start to see how complicated the KD stat can get, right? So if somebody just lists off, I've got a 1.8 KD, you also need to know what game type they're commonly playing. What's your win-loss look like? If you're in Rift and you're just doing nothing but slaying constantly, and you're not helping your team and you lose a lot of games, then perhaps you're not playing the objective as well. In my opinion, I think going for the win is always like the goal when you're playing PvP. You don't have to be tooth and nail, super die-hard sweaty about it, but I think that's the primary focus. So if you're a new player and you're looking at your KD, it can be a great indicator of how you're performing within the match. If you are in Clash and you have a 1.0 KD, you're not really helping your team, but you're not really hurting them either. You're just sort of maintaining status quo, not negating the score or pushing it further down, but you're also not pushing it further ahead. If you've got a 1.5 KD in Clash, then you're helping your team out, you're getting more kills than you have deaths. This is where KD can be really useful for new players, however. Let's say you're the most selfless player ever, and you're always going for the B hill in Control, and you're frustrated that your teammates aren't helping you out. You continually run to B and die on the hill, and you're like, guys, I'm playing the objective, I'm giving it my all. And you look and you have a very negative KD. Well, ultimately, you may not be helping your team out. In fact, you could be hurting them pretty significantly in doing this, because if you don't slay enough before you go after those capture points, you can start feeding kills to the enemy team. And the big overarching umbrella above all of this in Destiny is supers. Every time you die to an enemy, you give them super energy. And that can snowball out of control huge. Let's say the Stormcaller gets 3 kills, generates 3 orbs. That gives his teammate, who's a Blade Dancer, enough orbs to pop Blade Dancer, get 4 more kills, generates 4 more orbs, and you can see how this process gets out of control. Supers are very snowbally, so there's a balance between slaying and going after the objective. You can start to see how the KD stat gets pretty complicated when we look at the other factors mentioned in this video. So pay attention to your win-loss, look at your KD, it can be a helpful gauge during a match, like in this game of Rumble. I was so far down in kills, like 1,500 points when this game got going. I was 0-5, meaning I had died 5 times, I was giving tons of super energy to the other team, and I knew that I was going to be fairly behind on the super cycle as a result of that. I was going to get my super a lot later than most of the enemy opponents would. Those are the kind of data points that you can use mid-match. Remember too, if somebody shows you a really sweet KD, that there are some subsets and small groups of people who farm for a better KD. There's an entire group of people who just play the first 3 games on their Trials card because they're the easiest matches of the ticket, dismantle it, and then go again. And all they do all weekend long is play those first 3 games over and over again to get a really nice Trials KD. So if you see a player with a really sick win-loss, high ELO, and a good KD, those 3 metrics together in unison can help you show like, wow, that guy is a strong player who's doing well and helping his team out. But if you are only looking at the KD stat, especially I want to emphasize if you're a new player, it doesn't tell the whole story. Use it in conjunction with a bit of game type knowledge, as well as looking at your win-loss in combination. So those are my thoughts on KD. I could be totally wrong, or you guys may agree with me. I'd love to know your opinions down in the comments section below. Plenty of different opinions on this matter, and I'd like to hear from you guys what you think. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please let me know with a like, subscribe for more. Apologies if my voice sounded weird. I've been battling some odd sickness, like a little throat bug or something. It gives me that deep, guttural voice, that radio voice. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.